So the premise of Madoka Magica is that all magical girls eventually fall into desperation and they go crazy, they lose themselves and turn into witches of destruction. Now I have a problem here because it is a gender locked, and as a woman I feel it's a sensitive topic for women because our mental health, our emotions, our behavior was used against us even since psychiatry and psychology was established. And so, for example, if somebody did not like how a woman behaves, they would just label them as a crazy, and everyone would believe it. And as a result, women would lose even that little autonomy that they have, that they could have. So even today, it's not something from the past. Even today, every woman is more strictly evaluated about their psychology. Like, for example, you see my hair here. So what do you think? Do you think that I'm unstable because I have this kind of hair today? But if I was a man, so let's say I'm a man with a bun and I have this kind of hair, I think it would be more chances that you think that, oh, he's just trying to be goofy. Stop it, Jack. Like, it's like a different approach. Or when a woman talks loudly and confidently, she is often labeled as a crazy person or angry person. And meanwhile, if a man talks with the same voice, oh, it's just a normal way of talking. So that's why it's a sensitive topic for women, and in this story it's established as a rule that that's what happens. Like, all women, in this case all magical girls, eventually turn crazy and turn into witches. And then also witch hunting. So before psychology and psychiatry existed, witch hunting was a method against women again, right? So you don't like somebody, you just claim, oh, they are witches, and then they are put on fire. So it was a weapon used against women. So I just can't help myself, but when I think how the story was written, I just ask myself, was it accident, or did the author actually just thought, okay, so I'm commissioned to write a story about magical girls, but at the same time to break this genre. Okay, so magical girls, it means women. Okay, what do we know about women? Okay, so they go crazy really easily. Okay, so we can use that. Then, witch hunting, right? So, oh wow. So now to think about solutions, right? So how could be this avoided? And I would not be making this video. I would just rate this show by 9 or 10 and move forward and just say, oh, well, it was a great show. Well, first of all, don't make it gender locked. And I'm not saying bring some magical boy into cast. Just don't say that, oh, it's just with the girls that's happening this. Just have it open. So when Kyubei explains it first time to Madoka, just say, oh, yes, we convert middle school children to magical girls or boys because they have this lots of emotions in that age, and that would be fine. So second thing, Madoka could ask Kyubei, well, why do you convert only girls? Because in our age, both girls and boys get more emotions. And then Kyubei could say, well, it's because it's us, this bastard alien race, and that's what we choose to do. So again, that would kind of explain it, and I would not be making this video. Third solution. When Kyubei does this montage of the past, and we see these historical women, Cleopatra, Jeanne d'Arc, say that in this montage have also some men. and that solves the problem. Okay, so again, it's not gender locked anymore, and you don't need to have any magical boys or anything in cast, but just say that, okay, so this cycle can happen to both women and men. But no, you are explicitly saying that it's gender locked because women go crazy. That's what you are saying. And then, like, cynically, he says, oh, you know what? That's how humankind progressed. That's how we are where we are today, because of this crazy cycle of women's emotions that turn themselves into monsters, and then new women have to fight them. And it's so cynical and ironic to say that. Like, imagine going to the cow, okay? And saying, hey cow, so I know we stole your baby and we will kill it for its meat and we will milk you as much as possible. Then we will impregnate you again, and then we will steal your milk and baby again and we will continue this cycle several times until you die. But before you feel bad about it, know that humans love your milk and love your products. So do you feel better now? Like, it's the same thing. And the last solution would be, and I'm thinking if the writer was a woman, that's how she would make a resolution in the end. So when Madoka becomes a magical girl who is very powerful, and her wish is to prevent women who are about to lose themselves and turn themselves into witches to terminate at that point. But it does not cancel the premise that women will go crazy, okay? It doesn't cancel that. It just says, okay, I will interrupt you here when you are turning into witches. And so solution would be to actually go once they are already witches and revert them back and say that, hey, you know what? It was society who was telling you that it's inevitable and that will what happened to you, that you will go crazy, that you will become a witch. But actually, you are still a woman, you are still normal. It was just your issues that were not handled well, and everyone ignored it. It was not validated. But you can go back and you can get help, you know, and all these witches are reverted back to girls. I think that would be a very great solution. And I think if a woman was writing this story, that would be the solution they would go with. And we have this teased in the middle of the story, right? When they try to revert Sayaka, was her name Sayaka? I'm so sorry. When they try to revert her back from witch to normal girl, but they fail. And again, it reinforces this idea that women, once they go crazy, there is no turn back. But why? Because what I can remember right now, for example, in Naruto or in Blue Exorcist, in both cases, the main characters, who are boys, are overwhelmed with the dark power that they have, but then a friend calls them or hugs them and they are returned back to normal. But why can't this happen to the girls? Oh, right, because they are crazy, you know, like all girls eventually go crazy and they can't come back. And you know, I was thinking what would be a same kind of story that would invoke some empathy for the men, for other men. And that's the only thing I can think right now. So, Mr. Urabuchi, how would you like the following story? Middle school boys are involved in a singing club, and the voices are so pretty and they just love singing and everyone loves their voices. And it's necessary to balance the universe that they continue singing. So in order to keep these voices when they are about to turn teenagers, they need to go into castration. And it's a beautiful story with a very cute characters about friendship, about sacrifice, and just love of singing and all. Like, how would you feel about that? That you know that this kind of horrible thing was happening to other men before, just so they could sing, and now we have this romanticized anime about it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's how it should be. It's just premise of the story that everyone should be castrated. It's a good thing, like it's a rule of the world. Like, how would you like that? Would you feel empathy to everyone else who actually had to go through that? So to finish on a positive note, I have been reading this book. It's called You Just Don't Understand. And it's written in 80s. And it's about differences between men and women. And I'm happy to say that in 30 years, because it was written in 80s, right? Now we are in 2020s. In 30 years, many behavior that is of men's in this book, today it's perceived as toxic and just jerk behavior. Like, for example, if you say, hey, let's go shopping for groceries, and your husband says, how dare you to command me what to do? Like, today it would not be tolerated, but in 80s it was saying that, oh, it's because a woman used the word let's, and for men, because they're so fragile, they're so for them it was like a commanding word. So in the future, try not to use let's. So it's just one example, but it's hundreds of like that in this book, and I love reading it because today, and I think in the future, it will be more that men become like women in the ways that they are allowed to express emotions, and they are not insecure about their masculinity, and they don't need to prove that they're masculine by some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, yes, I think there is light in the end of the tunnel, or whatever we can call that. But I think stories like Madoka Magica that just say that, oh, you know what, that's how the women are not good. So yes, okay, thank you for watching.